Good evening and welcome to Tea Club. After the success of E-Club, which we had launched a few days back for children and had curated videos and an overwhelming response, we launched the Tea Club, a club exclusively for teachers, to bring all the teacher community together and give them a platform where they meet, interact with experts, and have an edge over to their training. Growth of teachers is never ending. If you're a teacher, you're a learner for life. A warm welcome to all the pre-primary teachers, especially because today we have a pre-primary workshop on numeracy. A few days back, we had a workshop on phonics that was under literacy. And today we're going to talk about numeracy in the foundational stage. I'm sure all of you are aware of the NEP, the new guidelines of education policy, and are always introspecting that what new can I do? हम क्या नया कर सकते हैं? हम हमारे बच्चों को कैसे ये ईज आउट करेंगे? अच्छा, ये फोनिक्स हो गया, ये लैंग्वेज हो गया, अभी नंबर्स कैसे सिखाएं? ये न्यूमरेसी क्या होता है? All your questions I'll try and answer in this session. But before that, a little about myself. I'm Darshana Dabke, and the only way I would like to introduce myself is that I am a passionate early years educator just like you. I have spent n number of my years to this section and I have been growing. What early years was 10 years back is different from what early years is today. I have an opportunity to work with the leading publishing company in India, Chetna Education, where preschool education and education for children is the utmost aim that we give the best, we deliver the best. And I'm fortunate to work with a team of members who are as equally passionate as me. My experience, my learnings, my little bit of research, I'll try and help you and give you today. What about children? Young children learn the best with hands-on experiences. How? It's ideal to make learning rich by teaching the context every day. हमारे पास बुक है, हमारे पास सिलेबस है, लेकिन ये सिखाएं तो कैसे सिखाएं? Today we will explore how in an environment of school, whether it is home or homeschooling or in preschool or in early years batch, how as teachers, as educators, we can give the best opportunities to children to teach numeracy through various routines and activities. Well, here I want to change this little word activities. We use this word very casually कि हमने बच्चों को activity कराया. We have made the children do activity. Let's for today, instead of activity, use the word engagement. The engagement for children. What are we going to do and learn about engaging the students? Before I begin, a quick game. I want all of you to think from morning, when you got up in the morning up till now, where all you have used numbers or you have seen numbers or you have used maths. For example, when I got up in the morning, I saw numbers on the wall clock. So your time begins now. In 10 seconds, let me see how many of you have seen numbers on your way up till now, from morning till now. 1, 2, 3, go. I'm waiting for your answers. We need an interactive audience. So when you get up in the morning, the first thing you see is the clock. Then when you're making tea in the morning, maybe you're measuring the cup of water, measuring sugar. So, oh, in vehicle, somebody's written on a vehicle, you have seen the number plate. 5 times, okay, that's a number also. Writing on board with a math question, fabulous. 3 times from morning. Can you tell me what 3 times you saw? Alarm in your mobile, superb. Number plate of a vehicle, yes. Anything else? Calendar, absolutely. Where else? On the lift, perfect. Where else? In the alarm, yes. You see numbers almost everywhere. जहां भी नजर जाती है वहां नंबर्स दिखते हैं, वहां मैथ्स आ जाता है. लेकिन इसका मतलब है कि जिस घड़ी बच्चा जन्मता है, वी फर्स्ट थिंग वी सीज व्हाट इज द टाइम. किस टाइम पे बच्चा हुआ है, कितने वजन का बच्चा है, कितने महीने का बच्चा है. सो नंबर्स इज एवरीवेयर. सो numbers or math is part of our life. And what better than introducing it in the foundational numeracy and mathematical skills? How do we do that? What is foundational numeracy? Foundation years पहले तो बोलते थे कि kindergarten age है, लेकिन now it is till foundation, that is grade 2. So we count from early years, that is nursery, junior KG, senior KG, and now grade 1, 2 is also part of foundation stage. The development of pre-numbers, the concepts all begin in early years. How to problem solve, how to use the numbers, how to teach the children add and subtract, how to measure, ये बहुत सारा होता है. This is too much for a child. Numeracy is a wider and a bigger umbrella. Foundational numeracy, it's an ability to reason, apply simple numerical concepts in daily life for problem solving. Example, इस कप में कितनी चीनी जानी है? 2 spoons. यहाँ से वहां तक how much I have to walk? 8 steps. The development of pre-number and number concepts. Now, what is pre-number? Pre-number is something that you learn even before you learn to write the numbers. The concept of numbers. Knowledge and skill of comparing two things. Seriation, classification, recognizing patterns during preschool serves as a strong foundational base. This mathematical base is made in early years only. That's why when your children go to the pre-primary or primary years, that is grade 3 onwards, you make them rock solid with the concepts. How to go about these concepts? The major aspects and components of early mathematical skills. These are the important skills. Okay, now which are those? Pre-number concepts. Okay, what do you do in pre-number concepts? You learn to count, understand the numeration system. You teach this by rhymes, by visuals, by picture talk, by object. You must have taught your children, right? 5 little ducks went out to play over the hills and far away. Or 5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell down and broke his head. So quickly tell me, which are the numbers, numerical rhymes and songs that you teach in your classroom? Can you give me that? While I go on to the next, numbers and operations on number. That is how to need mastery of mathematical techniques and use these techniques to form a system to represent number. When we teach how to write the numbers, how to do the formation, the number names, the value, this all comes over here. Measurements. How do you teach measurements? There are standardized measurements and there are non-standardized measurements. So when, like for example, how long is this dupatta or how long is this, thread? Can we measure this table with this pencil? These are basic non-standardized, measuring units. Now, patterns. Patterns you see everywhere. How are numerical patterns? There are patterns when you teach literacy also. आप ABCD सिखाने के पहले पैटर्न सिखाते हैं ना, रिपीटेड पैटर्न्स, उसी तरह से मैथ्स में भी पैटर्न्स रहते हैं. शेप्स, अंडरस्टैंडिंग. शेप्स देखो, आपने शेप्स कहाँ कहाँ देखे हैं? शेप्स ऑन रूफटॉप्स, शेप्स इन द टायर्स. You teach songs like the wheels of the bus go round and round. Then the moon is round. Ring a roses, pocket full of posies. So what are these? You're teaching them concepts, you're teaching them rhymes, you're actually teaching them shapes here. So what do? As preschool educators, we are doing all of this in a fun way, in a play way. And let me remind you, NEP emphasizes on play method of teaching. It's very essential. It has to be age appropriate also. We can't just take a chart and just start telling, this is number 1, this is how you write number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. क्या हम ये एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि बच्चा सेंटेंसेस लिखना शुरू करे? It's not possible. So what do we teach first? First, we teach alphabets. Before alphabets, we teach them standing lines, sleeping lines, patterns. Then we tell them the uppercase alphabets, then lowercase alphabets, 2-letter words, 3-letter words. We teach them how to recognize. There is a process. And this process is also there when you teach math. There are 5 major concepts in the foundation stage. First is counting. Second is addition and subtraction. Then comes classification. Measurement and data go hand in hand. And last but not the least, geometry. अभी अगर आपने ध्यान से ये कॉन्सेप्ट्स देखे हैं या पढ़े हैं मेरे साथ, तो आपको ध्यान में आएगा कि ये कॉन्सेप्ट सिर्फ अर्ली इयर्स में खत्म नहीं होते. They begin in early years, and as the child goes to the primary classes and upper primary classes, middle school, secondary, all these subjects are there. Geometry is there, measurement is there, data collection is there. मैनेजमेंट भी सिखाते हुए डेटा कलेक्शन सीखना पड़ता है, लेकिन इसका बेस कभी होता है? द बेस स्टार्ट्स इन अर्ली इयर्स. हाउ डू वी डू दिस? ये बड़े बड़े वर्ड्स हैं, काउंटिंग है, न्यूमरेसी है. काउंट मतलब क्या? काउंटिंग ऑन योर फिंगर्स, 1 2 3 4 5. इज दिस काउंटिंग? हाउ डू आई टीच? हाउ डू आई टीच काउंटिंग? हाउ डू आई टीच numbers? I've got this audience who is so excited. The teachers are sending rhymes and they're saying, telling me different rhymes, that the jingle bells is there and Dadi ki bindi gol. You're teaching concepts through rhymes. Yes. Similarly, let us figure out and find out how do we teach all these concepts slowly and understand the gradual progress. Is this difficult or it's easy? Let's take a call on numeracy. So I'm going back to this slide. When we are doing counting, we are doing numeracy. So let us see what comes under numeracy. Number introduction. Can you see something in the bracket written over there? Introducing 0. How many of you think that introducing 0 is very important in early years? And when should it be done? Or it's not important, ऐसे ही सिखा लेंगे, 1 to 10 कर देंगे, बाद में सोचेंगे 0 का क्या करना है. Do you think it is important to teach 0 when you're teaching numbers? How to identify the numbers? That is called identification. Number formation. जैसे letter formation होता है जब आप ABCD सिखाते हो, similarly numbers have a formation too. Every number, there is a particular way to write a number, and there is a particular, you can say, directionality to write numbers too. How do you write number name? As the letters have a name, so when you say alphabet, the sound of a letter is A, but the letter name is A. Similarly, when we are talking about numbers, numbers too have a formation, they have a form and they have a name. So when we draw a standing line, we say it is number 1, number 2, similarly. Quantity. When I say number 1, how many chocolates will I have? How will I teach that? What is the value of that number? How do you add, subtract, teach repeated addition, skip count the numbers? What are word problems? How do you use them? How do you use these word problems or stories while teaching in early years? So this is what we're going to do. Okay. Now let me ask you this question again. Let me repeat this. What about 0? When do you think we should start teaching them or introduce 0? And how do we do this? I have something in my hand, and in the other hand, I have nothing. So what is this nothing? How do you teach a small baby who is just 4-year-old or 5-year-old how to write them zero? Should we just say, ये ऐसे round करो O के जैसा, this is zero. That is the formation. But how do you teach the value? So when you're introducing zero, it can be introduced after 9 or it can be taught earlier also. It depends how you introduce it. I have nothing in my hand. But now I want to teach you numbers. So let me begin with 1. So maybe you have one object and then you say this is 1. Then you go on to number 2. 0 is very important. Introduction of 0 in early years is very important. And introducing it in the right way is even more important. I'm sure all of you will agree to it. Next time जब हम नंबर सिखाएं तो वो एज अप्रोप्रिएट भी होना चाहिए. ऐसे नहीं कि आप नर्सरी का बच्चा है, 3-year-old है, 3.5, 4-year-old है और हमने उसको सिखा दिया 1 to 100 लिख लेना. Start writing. Do you think if the child is writing 1 to 100, he knows everything about numbers? It has to be gradual. It has to be age appropriate. हम नहीं, जब बच्चा छोटा होता है, what do we say when the child is small? The child is crawling, the child is learning to sit, the child is learning to hold and stand up. In the same way, there is learning process. So we have to teach according to the age appropriateness of that particular concept. You can't teach the concept much earlier or too late. It has to be right according to the milestone. Pre-math skills. What I am going to talk more and lay emphasis is about these pre-math skills. Sorting and classification. How do we sort and classify? Maths has these attributes. What are these attributes? They are very important. You sort or classify according to shape, size, color, size, and design. ये 5 things. Let me just repeat that once more. Attributes are shape, color, size, design, and texture. Making sets or making groups, matching, sequencing, patterning, comparing, prediction, and estimation. Now, how do we do this? All these pre-math skills are very important. We're going to go slow on this. I want you to make notes if you are writing down. Okay? Sorting and classification. जरूरी है कि आपके पास ready-made manipulatives होना चाहिए. You need to have beads and all those resources, or are resources lying around here and there. We just need that vision. We need that spark as teachers कि मैं कौन सी चीज लूं जिससे मैं बच्चों को सिखा सकती हूँ, जिससे मैं बच्चों को engage कर सकती हूँ. How do I engage my children? What are the resources that are available? Many a times, how do we give homework? Worksheet भेज देते हैं. We say, okay, fill in these pages and send. But can you give a homework which is, very engaging, where the child will love? So can the child help the parents sort the vegetables? Can the child sort different kinds of leaves? Can the child sort different kind of socks? Can you give 10 seconds and tell me sorting कैसे कर सकते हैं? कौन सी चीजें जो अपने आजू बाजू में रहती हैं? Which are the things, which are the manipulators which are lying in your classroom, which are lying at home, and you can take those things, take that, it may be stationery or anything, and how are you going to, which are those things? Can you just think and give me some? Can you think aloud and tell me which are the things that we can use to teach sorting? To sort according to shape, to sort according to color, to sort according to size, sort according to texture. Hard, soft, big, small. Pulses, yes. Crayons, absolutely yes. Color pencils, yes. Anything more? Long books and short books, yes. Beads, absolutely right. What else? Vegetables, yes. Pencil and eraser, perfect. You can have them collective and ask the children to sort. What else? Fruits. Yes, we can make the children sort fruits according to shapes. Yes, we can. Color. Yes, we can. Size. Of course, yes, we can. And design or texture. For example, the texture of a strawberry is different than a pineapple, then different than a mango or an apple. So are the children only sorting? सिर्फ sorting हो रही है colors के हिसाब से या shape के हिसाब से कि और कुछ हो रहा है? Why do you think the child will be so engaged in doing this? Can you tell me? Can you give a thought to it and tell me? If you give a child a worksheet or maybe something to write 10 times, but will learn or pick up a concept and engage and want to do it again and again over and over. Why? You know what is the secret behind it? The secret behind it is the experience. This is called sensory experience. Touch and feel, hold, So this is very important when child is learning concepts. It's not only subject specific. What we are trying to do is having interdisciplinary approach. That is, अलग-अलग disciplines है. जैसे numeracy है और literacy है. We are integrating it. Art है, math है, integrate कर रहे हैं. So can you think of n number of subjects that will come when you do one concept of sorting? Ask the children to sort paper, colored crayons, paints. Ask them to do it according to the shades. What if you have for little, children who are little grown up? So basically you can begin with primary colors, then go up to secondary colors. And then maybe when they're perfect at it, you give them the same color, but different shades and ask them to sort according to shapes. क्या हम बच्चों को डार्क ब्लू एंड लाइट ब्लू सिर्फ बोल के सिखा सकते हैं कि इसके लिए उनके लिए एक्सपीरियंस जरूरी है. It's very important for them to see it visually. It's very important for children to feel it. It's very important for children to have that experience. Then sorting becomes easier. Matching. We did sorting. Now we're coming to matching. Similar. How can we teach matching and make sets? You can have an assorted, tub of shapes and ask the children to sort shapes according to their size, according to their color, according to the texture, according to the design. Maybe you have different colored designs. Size. Do you remember, I'm sure most of you must be taking this story of three little bears, and that there was a mama bear and a papa bear and a baby bear, and they had their three chairs. One chair was a big chair, one chair was a small chair for the baby, and there was a medium chair. And then they had three bowls. One bowl was a big bowl for papa, one there was a medium bowl for mama, and there was a small little bowl for the baby. And then there was hot soup for papa. There was little lukewarm soup for mama, and for the baby there was it was a cold, so the baby could have. This is how we can teach them different shapes, sizes through stories. We can maybe think of some rhyme, some song which has size and shape in it. Can you think of some rhyme? Can you think of any other story which we can introduce the shapes? Somebody had just mentioned the rhyme Dadi ki bindi gol, Dadaji ka chashma gol. Can you think of some other rhyme like this where you can introduce shape, you can introduce size? Can somebody suggest me which are the other songs? Weighing, heavy and light. How do you teach that? Do you just tell them that this box is very heavy, this box is not so heavy, it's light? Can you give them an assorted material where they touch, feel, hold and say, this is little heavy, this is not so heavy, and teach them to sort? How they sort it? Length. How do they measure length? How do they measure height? I'm sure all your classrooms must be having a height chart. And all the children are very curious to know who is taller in the class, who is the leader in the line, who is the shortest in the class. Comparison, they are doing that. Design. Today I'm wearing something printed. What are you wearing? Are you wearing a plain dress? Are you wearing a checkered dress? Are you wearing stripes? And texture. My mama's sari is very soft. The blanket is very warm and heavy. Can we teach this vocabulary? Can we get language into math? When they are learning to match, they are doing sets, they are doing groups. So many, the sky is the limit. You just have to think and brainstorm. Come across like a team, sit together and think, how do I teach this concept in a new way? This I have already taught. What kind of new experience I will give this child? How will I engage my children in this particular activity when I teach them to match, when I teach them to make sets? Worksheets तो होते ही हैं. That can be used as revision, that can be used as, recall activity to just, you can say, make your concept pakka, to make it perfect. You can use those worksheets, you can use those books. They are very essential. You can't just keep on doing engagements. You also have to get it on paper, because that's what the children are going to learn when they go in higher grades. So that introduction is already also there. So जिस तरह से we go for dinner, we just don't start eating. We start with a soup, we start with an appetizer, we start with a starter, and then slowly we go and progress to the meal of the day. Sequencing. How do you sequence stories? Best form of teaching sequencing to the children. Can you think of any stories which has sequence? Do you recollect the story of Monkey and the Cap Seller? What happens first? Then what happens? Later what happened? In the end what happened? What happened next? What happened before that? This is how you can teach them stories. Even rhymes. You can teach sequencing in rhyme also. Incy Wincy Spider. What happened first? Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the wall. What happened then? Down came the rain. What happened after that? It washed away. Incy Wincy Spider got washed away. In the end, what happened in the end? He started climbing the spout once again. Sequencing, it helps. This is memory, recall. You are asking the child to recall and have the sequence. Can we teach them simple, cooking activities in class, like making a lemonade? What is the process? Can we teach some simple memory games to senior KG children, grade 1 and 2 children? They will love it. They will engage in this. Absolutely. Somebody's rightly mentioned that Jack and Jill and is an activity. You can ask what happened first. Jack and Jill were climbing the hill. What happened then? Perfect. It is a perfect, experience through pictures. Absolutely. Through pictures. You can ask the children to sequence the pictures. You can ask them to sequence the story and also narrate it. Humpty Dumpty, water, lemon, sugar. Perfectly. There is one teacher who's mentioning that you take, first you take water, then you squeeze lemon in it, then you add sugar and you make a lemonade. Absolutely well said. See, these are so simple activities. They're just on our fingertips. We just have to make the magic and get it into the classroom. Patterns. My favorite. This is the concept that I love the most. How do you teach patterns? Can you teach all the patterns at one go? No, you have to go slowly. So I'll teach you one tricky game over here, okay? So first pattern is A, B, okay? So think of a number for A instead of A and think of another number instead of B. Now, can you make your own pattern with two numbers which will have A, B? So it is A, B, A, B. How will you replace that? Can you think of it? Can you think, how can you do patterns with numbers? You've taught number 1 and number 2 to the children. Now, can you teach them to make patterns out of the numbers? Yes, you can. Can you ask the children to make an AA and BB pattern? That is 1, 1, 2, 2. Again comes 1, 1, 2, 2. Can you teach patterns that way? Yes, you can. Not only that, with manipulatives you can teach patterns, with colors you can teach patterns. For example, I have taken red color, I have taken yellow color. What will be next? Red color again. Okay, if I'm doing AABB pattern, then I have taken yellow, yellow, green, green. What comes next? Again it will be yellow, yellow. You have to scaffold. You have to higher up the level. Slowly, you begin with the first pattern. Once the children are perfect, you can go in the next. You can also teach patterns with vegetables. You can also teach patterns with fruits. You can also teach patterns with the eraser and pencil lying in your class. You can also teach patterns by asking the children to stand in a line. So, one boy, one girl, one boy, one girl pattern. With furniture, table, chair, with fork and spoon, with a napkin and a box. Can you think of other things that you can teach patterns in the classroom? Can you gather something from outside and teach patterns? Colorful ice cream sticks. Yes, you can use that. Candy sticks to teach patterns. You can have, shapes. For example, you have two triangles, then you have two squares, or maybe you have a square and a circle, square, circle, patterns. So am I just teaching patterns there? No, I'm teaching shapes, I'm teaching patterns, and I can scale it up by teaching the attributes. Do you remember the attributes we did in the beginning? Size, shape, color, design, texture. All of that can come in patterns. Isn't it so simple? And isn't it so interesting? If you as an educator are engaging in this conversation with me today, imagine how much the children will love. They will wait for the teacher. आज टीचर क्या करके आ रहे हैं, हमको क्या नया सिखा रहे हैं. How are we going to engage? You are actually teaching a concept, but what are the teacher doing? Children doing? The children are playing. They're learning through play. Patterns are in music also. Patterns are in syllables also. Patterns are in letters also. So this pattern that you're teaching in math can actually be used in so many other ways. Patterning some more slides over here. Can you see how they're using blocks? I'm using this representation because I can't show, I don't have manipulatives with them. That's why I'm using this. Patterns by car and, just can you see? Stick is there, small pebbles are there, stones are there, natural materials. All the approaches that are used in teaching, for example, earlier, that is like Reggio Emilia approaches there, Montessori approaches there. All these approaches speak only one thing, and engage the child, keep the child engaged, use manipulative, give hands-on experiences. This is what it's all about. Get your child to sort your toy box at home or in the classroom and see, while playing, while sorting, you're going to teach them so many maths patterns. Comparing. How do we teach them to compare? Can you see the first image over here? What am I showing them? It's a story. Story of bear with 3 bowls. Similarly, in comparing, you're comparing heavy and light. You're actually giving the manipulative to the children to compare. And in the last picture, which is my favorite, it's a beautiful picture of all the dolls which are kept in a sequence according to their height. And this is how they're comparing. So can you understand that how the regular stuff that is lying around in your house, that is lying around in your classroom, that is just there, teaches math. Math is in every corner of your classroom, in every corner of your house. You just need to explore that, and you have to give the children that opportunity to explore, hold it, feel it, understand it. The understanding of concept is more important. If you're going to engage the child in a worksheet or in any activity where there is no understanding, it is just robotic. You just ask the child, match karo, to match kar diya, without understanding. It's not going to happen. The child is going to have difficulty when the child reaches higher grades. So to make that math more stronger, the concept more stronger in the base, that is in the early years, that's why we as early educators make this foundation stronger. How? By giving experiences, by exploring, finding new methods, new strategies, and novelty in your teaching. That is very important. One more thing I want to mention. I did this engagement yesterday. Children loved it. So I'm going to repeat it today. Do you think the children will like it? No, they may not engage next time the same. That energy level might dip because they're curious. They want new experiences. They've mastered it. So maybe the same concept you teach in a different way. You allow them to, you facilitate it. You facilitate your teaching. You just give them the resources. Let them explore. Let them learn. Let them enjoy. Prediction and estimation. How do you do that? I have a fist. I have something in my hands. I have got some sweets. Can you tell me how many sweets are there? Or I have a palm, and do you think on this palm how many objects can I balance? Let the children predict. Let them estimate. With small things, how many steps do you think will take for me to reach that door? How many spans will I need to measure that table? How many? I think 5 spans. The table is 5 spans long. Let them predict. Let them think. Maybe you tell them a story. You tell them a story, but you don't tell them the end. And ask them to predict. What do you think will happen in the end? Let them estimate. I went over here and I had to carry, there were 10 children. Okay? 10 children were there. I had to carry apples for them. They were very hungry. I had 20 apples. How many apples do you think I will have to distribute? This is very simple. This is just vocabulary building, just making them aware. Let them think. Let them imagine. A very funny exercise for all of you. Okay? So you're not going to take time, not even 2 seconds. Whatever comes to your mind first, you're going to write it. Okay? Listen carefully. Ready? How many years do 3 bunny rabbits and 1 cow have? Can you quickly write? I'm going to repeat. How many years do 3 bunny rabbits and 1 cow have? Let the answers come in. Fast. Don't think. Should I repeat? How many years do 3 bunny rabbits and 1 cow have? Yes, totally. That's pretty fast. हम सब adults हैं, but time लगा ना सोचने के लिए. We did take time to think, right? Imagine how much time will the child require. They may actually illustrate. They may actually take a sheet and draw. They draw 2 bunny rabbits because it won't strike them. How do you teach skip counting? How do we teach them? We just tell them 2, 4, 6, 8. This is how we rote learn. We make them rote learn. Isn't it an interesting exercise? Let me try one more with you. Okay, listen carefully. How many tails do 3 cows and 1 bunny rabbit have? How many tails do 3 cows and 1 bunny rabbit have? Didn't you enjoy? Are you not enjoying these kind of games? Yes, this is how you can use these games as energizers in your class. You can use them and to gather their attention, to give them some novelty in the class. Let them wait for you. आज teacher कौन सा नया pattern बता रहे हैं? आज कौन सा नया story बता रहे हैं? So simple. Isn't it interesting? Engaging. If I don't keep you engaged in this workshop, you will zone out. Same way, if you as a teacher in your classroom do not engage your children into the activities, they will zone out. To grab their attention, to keep their curiosity alive, you have to be innovative. You have to be innovative with the things that are lying just around you. To teach concepts, to take recap, to take assessments, everything is possible. Measurements. Two ways of teaching them. At early years level, we teach them non-standardized. And when they grow up, when they grow into grade 3, 4 onwards, you will teach them the standardized ones. So what are non-standardized? A cup, drops, you give them droplets, ask them to use a dropper and count drops. Span, a cup, measuring cup. Sand play, when they're doing sand play, when they're doing water play, is when you can teach them non-standardized measurement. Can you give this kind of exciting homework to your children on vacations or weekends instead of just sending worksheets? Think about it. This kind of activity will not only engage the children, they will look forward for something that you send. Think of something interesting that you can ask the children to do. Measure in their house and come back. Data handling. Blocks, building blocks. First thing, when they come to the classroom, the first thing that we give them is bar graphs. We can teach them bar graphs. Simple. But then do we start all of that directly teaching them tally? No, it goes slowly. So in senior KG, maybe you can teach them like, okay, how many of you like, what is your flavor of ice cream that you like? What is the, color that you like? And then create your visual charts. Tally and data handling, teaching bar graphs. It's not only in higher grades, you can teach in early years. You have to find an interesting way to do it. Engage the child. Can you see the chart in between over here? It's such a simple chart. Count the letters, number of letters in your name and paste it. And then see whose name has the maximum letters, how many letters, and who has the smallest name, how many letters. Age, choice of color, tally. So simple it is and so interesting. And can you imagine how beautiful your class will look when you have charts which are placed all around, done by the children? Only thing that the teacher has done over here is written the question. Rest all is children's work, kids' work. The classrooms look beautiful when children's work is placed up, not when the teacher's work is placed up. You have your classroom with this decor, and I'll tell you, for your PTAs, your parents will not go outside the class. They will just stand there and take pictures. They will be so proud to have a teacher like you. Geometry. Can you see the chart? It's such a simple chart. Do you know that the waste paper that you use in craft can be given, cut properly in shapes and can be given to the children? You can ask the children to cut the paper. Scissoring skills aa gaye na? You teach them to cut on the straight lines. So fine motor skills. You're giving them an activity. You're asking them to cut the paper, reuse the paper. At the same time, you're going to ask them to paste it, sort it according to the shape, size, whatever you're teaching them. And see how engaging it is. All the rough paper that is there. Symmetry जो हम higher classes में सिखाते हैं. I'm sure you can see this butterfly thing chart when you fold the paper and open the chart. Almost all classrooms have this activity. But allow the child to do it. You don't do it for the child. Let the child explore. Let them choose the colors. Let them select the colors. Let them do it themselves. You have cooking in your classroom. So many of you have, cooking class where non-gas cooking, as we call it, we have. Make sandwiches in different shapes. Let them explore. Let them make their own sandwiches. Let them have a mock picnic in their classroom. And see, you have an event for the day. You can have a pattern day in your classroom, You can just ask the children, wear a different pattern clothes and come to your class. You have a pattern day. You have a geometry day in your class where the children think of something and they just do geometry exercises for the whole day. Think, explore. Make your early years bubbling with energy, bubbling with curiosity, bubbling with experiences for the children. And I can assure you, the children will want to come to school on each single day. You will not take more than 2 days to settle your child in the initial days for nursery. Keep everything open. Make everything inviting for the child, engaging for the child. It would be brilliant. I'm coming to the closure. I hope you have loved this session and appreciated that yes, we are teachers. First of all, you need a pat on your back because you're already doing a fabulous job. You're doing great in your classroom. You're exploring. But now let us take that on a new level. Okay. I'm going to ask you one rapid fire to wind up. I hope you're ready for this round. Should I go ahead? Okay. The first question that I'm going to ask you is, what math skill are you applying when you're arranging pots and pans in your kitchen at home? Which math skill are you applying? Can you tell me? When you are keeping pots and pans at your home, what is the math skill that you're applying? Think about it. Ascending order, yes. Patterns, yes. According to the sizes, yes. Yes. Sorting, yes. Small to big, yes. Ascending, descending, perfect. Can you use this activity in your classroom? Yes, you can. Next question. I'm moving on to the next question. Rapid fire. Which math skill are you applying when you sing the ABC song? Which math skill? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You sing that song in your classrooms, right? What math skill are you doing? It's literacy, but you're teaching math. What is that? Patterns, yes. Yes. What comes next? Patterns. Yes. You're sequencing. You're teaching them sequencing when you're singing the ABC song. Next. Which math skill are you applying when you follow a recipe? For example, you're doing a lemonade, or you're doing a khichdi, or you're baking a cake. What are you applying? Sequencing, absolutely. Remember, sequencing a story first, then, later, after. Yes, that's a math skill which you can apply even when you're narrating a story. Perfect. One more. When you are planning a menu for a party, which math skill are you applying for the following? Prediction or estimation? Tell me. आप एक पार्टी प्लान कर रहे हैं या इवेंट प्लान कर रहे हैं स्कूल में, मे बी ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स डे प्लान कर रहे हैं, क्या आप करते हो? कौन सा मैथ स्किल आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो? एस्टिमेशन के प्रेडिक्शन? फॉर ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स डे और फॉर अ पार्टी, what will come? Are you estimating or are you predicting? Estimation. What kind of estimation are we doing when we are planning? Prediction or estimation? We're doing both. We're doing both. We are predicting that so many people will come, and we estimate that maybe they require so many cupcakes. So we're doing both. I am towards the end of this session today, and I've loved the energy that this group has kept going. And I come back with a promise that we from Chetna are going to have many more sessions for you, where we'll handhold you, we'll get the best people for you, and help you in your classrooms to grow. But I leave with a promise from you that who is our end result? Whom are we doing all this for? This is all for those little tiny babies in your classroom. All of this will go to them. I leave with a promise from you that you are going to extend yourself as a teacher. You're already the best, but now you're going to try and give much more new. And if you innovate something, if you want to share something, do get in touch with us. We would love to share your ideas with others. So, thank you so much for being with me throughout, and take care until we see you soon. Bye.